When someone goes to build a business, most people are pretty ignorant to what that looks like. What I've noticed is that a lot of business owners also feel that same pressure. They have no fucking idea what they're doing. And that's almost every business owner I've ever come across, whether they've got a $100 million business, whether they've got close to $1 billion business, whether they've got a business that's making 60 or 80 grand a year. Everybody's afraid. And they're afraid of making mistakes because it costs them money, it costs them time. Also, it upsets people or it frustrates people. There's also the fear of criticism, the fear of judgment, the fear of not being good enough. These are all common for all business owners. And so they're trying to navigate business, which is something that they've never done before at the level that they're at. So if you've got a $3 million business and you want to grow to a $6 million business, you don't know the steps to grow to a $6 million business. The only way you can do it is through trial and error, or you can learn from someone else's journey, which means mentors, which means coaches, which means reading books, which means learning as fast as you can other people's knowledge so that then you can start to solidify some of the learnings from them inside your own mind so you can make better decisions and grow that business faster. If you don't, you'll do what most people do and they fuck things up and they waste a lot of time, they waste a lot of money and they waste a lot of energy. This is why I believe that personal development and personal growth and having the right people around you like mentors and coaches and things like that who are on that journey or have been on that journey or who understand that journey and are really, really highly skilled at what they do will make a massive difference. You know, when I have people who say personal development's stupid, personal development's dumb, people who go to that stuff are idiots, that's cool. But that's the same person who spends the majority of their life using trial and error as their best strategy of navigating life. I've got no fucking idea what I'm doing when it comes to growing a business. All I can go off of is the mentors and the coaches who have gone further than I have or who understand the journey more than I have. I'm essentially walking blind into the next step. I know all the steps up to where I'm at because I've made a lot of mistakes, I've learned a lot, I've had a lot of coaches and mentors and people around me and I've read a lot of books and they've all helped me to understand the journey. So I can make better decisions, and success really comes down to good decision making. Also, this is a thing that most people try to avoid is decisions. And so most people don't succeed because they never hone their decision making skills. But by learning and growing and having the right people around you, you can make better decisions. And when you make better decisions, you get better results. I think the biggest problem is, and this is what happens with most business owners, is that they go, shit, I need some marketing. I'm just going to hire a marketing person. And I need some sales people, so I'm going to hire a salesperson. And I need someone who can do fulfillment or delivery. So I'm going to hire someone who can do fulfillment or delivery. And so slowly you start hiring all these people. Now, these people then rely upon you in order to make decisions because they haven't been trained in the decision-making process. They also don't understand your values. So when they come to work, you've essentially hired them to do the job that you expect them to do based on the expectations that you haven't really set clearly. And so what will happen is you'll build a team or a business who they may be all great people, but at the same time, they don't work in the skill set of helping you perform better. All that ends up happening is you end up in a business completely trapped because the staff that you have onboarded are there to do their job. They're not there to support you so that you can do your job knowing that you're the most valuable asset in that business, especially if you are responsible for the delivery of the product and the service. But at the same time, my business isn't growing, staff rely upon me. I'm resentful because I feel like I make $1 million a year, but I spend the majority of that money just paying people who don't make my life any easier or who don't provide value in a way of money making in the business. So normally most business owners start getting resentful, they get frustrated, they start going on holidays, they want to escape, they just want to fucking give up on the business. And then, you know, after a couple of days of feeling like shit, maybe drinking themselves stupid. This stuff commonly happens when someone feels trapped, they'll want to escape. And so most people want to escape their life because of the choices that they consistently make that make them feel trapped. We have to now go back in and look at how do we build your business in a way where your team support you. So the hiring process isn't based on how do I find a marketing person. It's how do I find a marketing person who supports me in a marketing role also. How do I find a salesperson that supports me in the sales process? So it needs to come back to not just building the business, it comes back to the support of the person who's doing the majority of the fulfillment in the business. But the point that I'm getting at here is that if you're listening to this and you are a business owner and you are someone who has built a business, but you feel trapped in your business, it is really, really important to go back and analyze, did you hire people as a support role for you, or did you hire people in order to do a job? Because that small little difference can make all the difference to your stress levels. If the business does $1 million in turnover every year and you do $999,000 in sales, then almost every sale is on your shoulders. Then if you have to manage the team, then you also have to sell almost everything. So you pay all the wages, you do all the sales, and at the same time, you have to also manage the team. You're doing 3 high-level job roles. No wonder why you're fucking stressed. If you want to run a business, it's fucking tough. It's really, really tough. And I try to convince most people not to start a business unless you're really, really keen and you understand what it takes. But also, if you're one of those people out there who are driven to run a business, then you need to think about what the business looks like as it starts to grow. And as it starts to grow, if you're the primary income earner and you're the primary person that everyone else relies upon in that business, it's set up that way through sheer ignorance. The other reason why a business relies upon an individual is because that individual is insecure and wants to control everything, and so they micromanage things, but at the same time they're stressed out, burnt out, tired. They don't really want to run a business. They want to be the center of attention. And also, a lot of employees don't understand the amount of pressure and stress on a business owner. And if you work for someone who is the center person in a business, it is so important to try to help them and take work off of them instead of making your life easier and their life more complicated, because you'll find that they get more angry, more shut down, more suppressed, more fucked off, and the culture of the business won't be good, and eventually you won't want to work there anyway. It's not always that the boss is just a dick, it's just that the boss is a dick because they don't know how to communicate, they're not effective in leadership, they're not effective in management, they've got too much pressure on their shoulders, they don't know how to deal with things, they have poor coping mechanisms. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on with most business owners that I know, and they don't know how to deal with all this stuff, and so yeah, they end up having higher staff turnover, they have a lot of problems inside their business, cash flow is always strained. You know, all of these issues happen just because most business owners don't really know how to grow a business. What we need to do is work on a strategic plan, and this is the cost. And he said, shit, I don't really want to spend that money. And I said, you're going to spend that money either way. You're going to spend that money through fuck-ups, or you're going to spend that money working with me going through this, and I'll help you out, and so you won't have to blow all that cash on all mistakes and wasted time and wasted energy and all that. And in fact, I would probably say that the majority of the money that I've earned over the years has gone in mistakes. Let's say over 13 years, I've earned $13 million. I would say that the majority of that money has gone through learning and also a lot of mistakes. If you want to run a business, then you've got to build a business. And for most business owners, they don't know what that looks like. But I really wanted to make sure in this podcast that you think about, if you're a business owner or you're a sole trader or anything like that, how have you built your team? What does that look like? What's the strategy moving forward? Because most people don't really know. And so because of that, they're just using trial and error.